Hey everybody, it's PartyElite here with another online battle today. Looking through the comments last week, it seemed that many of you wanted to see Skaven on the battlefield, so this week I have quite a few Skaven battles to get through. Today, I take them against the Wood Elves of SpongeBob. We begin, of course, with talk of composition and deployment, and as you can see, I am trying some sneaky stuff with my Skaven. In the left over here, among the trees, we have Tretch, CRAVEN in charge alongside 5 units of Clan Rats with shields. To the right, tucked away in the trees, we have a Warlock Engineer alongside a unit of Storm Vermin with Halberds, 2 units of Rat Ogres, and 2 units of Plague Monks. Then in the middle over here, you can see we have a Plague Claw Catapult as well as a Storm Vermin with Halberd unit to try and keep it safe, while up front, Vanguard deployed, I've got 3 units of Night Runners hoping to get some early damage in and then peel back with their skirmishing capabilities. Now the reason why I decided to deploy in the trees so heavily is because I expected the Wood Elves to do the same, and you can see they have. So let's take a look at their deployment over here. In charge, we have none other than Orion, firing away already, and his front line consists of these 4 units of Dryads. A very good call there. Dryads are very threatening in the Skaven Wood Elf matchup. And in the center here, we also have a Branch Wraith capable in melee, of course, and also able to provide some magical support. But let's take a look in the trees over here. We've got 2 units of Wad Riders already peeling off to the side, and we also have 5 units of Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards, also bringing in that magical damage, hoping to cause some hurt to my physically resistant, or the typically physically resistant Skaven units. And now as the Plague Claw Catapult fires away to get some damage in to these Dryads nice and early, hoping to cause some hurt to that very threatening unit, take a look as these Wild Riders peel off and give chase to my Night Runners, who are hoping to get some early damage into Orion. I, of course, have to peel them back and get some hurt into these Wild Riders. I actually managed to kill a fair number of them as we pull this retreat over here, and you can see my Plague Claw Catapult immediately responding as well, hoping to get some shots into those Wild Riders as I try to bait them into the trees over here into my Storm Vermin with Halberd unit. And you can see over here, meanwhile, to the left, the Deepwood Scouts have been spotted, so I am giving chase, hoping to shut them down, or hoping to at least keep them preoccupied as they fire into my Clan Rats with shields. Of course, I have shields over there, so I'm not too worried. You can see Tretch CRAVEN as well, popping Verminous Valor for that little bit of extra speed, hoping to close the gap a little bit faster and maybe shut at least one of these units down. Meanwhile, over here, you can see between the Plague Claw Catapult and all of that range fire from the Night Runners, one of these Wild Rider units has actually taken a fair bit of damage to health and to morale, and I continue to bait them towards the threatening Storm Vermin with Halberd unit over here. Again, just hoping they'll keep that chase on, hoping to just bring them all the way into the trees. And you can see a lot of damage being done there. They're not giving up on the chase despite spotting this clump, and I send in my Storm Vermin with Halberds right away as they continue to give chase, and I hope to shut those 2 threatening Wild Riders down immediately. Meanwhile, over here on the left, you can see these Clan Rats continue to close the gaps, and again, they have their shields, so they will be largely protected. Even though they're just bronze shields, they will be, I should say, somewhat protected from the range fire that's coming in, so I continue to give chase to all of these archers, hoping to keep them busy. But over here, you can see Orion is getting involved rather intimately as he dives into these Clan Rats, popping Foe Seeker for that extra speed, I think, to get the extra impact damage as he blows some of these Clan Rats to bits, just charges right through them. In comes a lot of range support as well. These guys are not going to have a good time whatsoever. Meanwhile, over here, though, you can see these Wild Riders are beginning to give up on the fight. One of them has already routed. The other one is very close to routing as well. These Rat Ogres giving chase just to cause a touch of damage, and the Night Runners now have to get involved over here instead. As you can see, these Clan Rats continue to give chase to various archers as they try to keep them busy. That's all I care for. I know I'm not going to close the gaps most likely, but I want to try and keep them busy. The Dryads over here, meanwhile, joining in on the fight against the Clan Rats. Tretch CRAVEN diving in. He is anti-large, so I'm hoping to use that against Orion. Maybe not the best call over there. And in comes some shots from the Plague Claw Catapult as well, hoping to cause some hurt to those clumped up Dryads as these Night Runners again continue to fire away and provide some support, hoping to slow down some of these Dryads, cause a bit of hurt here and there, and maybe potentially focus in on some of these Deepwood Scouts as well, take care of that range capabilities. Over here, you can see these Deepwood Scouts did get shut down by these Clan Rats with shields, but for some reason I decided that wasn't good enough, and I wanted to chase after these Deepwood Scouts over here. I'm not sure what I was thinking there, and as I turn around to get a nice rear charge, these guys are being absolutely decimated, devastated, I should say, while these Dryads here continue to be the focus of some of my Plague Claw Catapult fire. Inaccurate as it might be, you can see these Clan Rats are giving up on the fight, so this is not going in my favor. Off in the distance, meanwhile, over here, you can see these Clan Rats continue to give chase to these 2 units of Deepwood Scouts, and while they're not closing the gap, and they don't seem to be coming anywhere near closing the gap, I don't quite mind, because if I can keep these 2 guys busy, that's less damage they're doing to my central clump, and I know that I don't have the upper hand over here anyway, so anything I can do to give myself even the slightest advantage in these central engagements, the happier I am. And you can see over here, We've got these rat ogres now pushing in, not the best of units, I would say, but I just wanted to take them in to see what I can do to archers with them. And you can see these Deepwood Scouts over here aren't having the best of times as those rat ogres come in, but as the rat ogres get stuck in combat, they're not going to do much work. And you can see at the same time, I'm trying to just get rid of these dryads as best as possible. Unfortunately, flubbing a couple shots there. The warp lightning didn't do much either, and now these rat ogres, you can see, are not going to have the best of times as they get fully surrounded. They're starting to drop in health, dropping in morale as well. These rat ogres as well, as I try to pull them away, drop in morale significantly. And you can see over here, I've got my plague monks trying to close the gap to get some damage into these dryads, and off to the distance over here, Tretch Craventail actually died being chased down by the Branch Wraith and Orion, so a huge hit to morale for me, but you can see I am getting the upper hand in some cases as some of these dryads are low on morale. Some of them have begun routing, so this is working out for me, but these Wild Riders have decided to return to the fight, so I send in the Storm Vermin with Halberd, hoping to shut them down before they can cause too much damage to any of my Night Runners. The Night Runners as well, you can see I'm pulling them back, hoping to keep them safe and alive, as they will cause a touch of damage to the enemy range capabilities if push comes to shove. And you can see right now, though, using them against these Wild Riders, as the Warlock Engineer here pops Death Frenzy on these Plague Monks, just hoping to keep these guys alive, increase their melee attack, increase their weapon damage, and try to get rid of these dryads as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, I do not have magical damage on the field with these Plague Monks. They're not sensor bearers, so this is not going to work out for me all that well. At the same time, these Wild Riders turn around and they continue to give chase to these Night Runners, hoping to shut them down once and for all. You can see morale is dropping significantly, and I'm rather concerned for my Plague Claw Catapult over here, but I do have these Storm Vermin with Halberds ready to push in. You can see there goes the order, hoping to shut these guys down, while all the way over here, you can see we get the Hounds coming in from Orion, and even though I try to dodge it, I'm just a little too slow, and it's a lot of work being done. Unfortunately, my Death Frenzy is being largely wasted as I pull away from those engagements. Fortunately, though, these Dryads do begin routing, so that kind of works out in my favor. The Death Frenzy did all it needed to do. In comes another Warp Lightning, doing a fair bit of damage this time, taking care of these Dryads, while all of these archers now, you can see, are freed up as my Clan Rats with shields have completely given up on the fight over there. These Rat Ogres as well now routing, moving off to the side there. They haven't rallied just yet, and over here as well, these Clan Rats with shields just haven't returned to the fight soon enough, while these Storm Vermin with Halberds continue to give chase now into Orion. Again, he is large, even on foot, so I'm trying to close the gap. Unfortunately, that Branch Wraith very nicely done here, intercepting the Storm Vermin with Halberds as I'm focusing elsewhere. You can see the Plague Claw Catapult continues to fire away at some of these Dryads, again, just trying to get these guys to die, while over here, you can see the Plague Monks are just being shot up and completely devastated. Meanwhile, over here, very cleverly done by the Branch Wraith, just holding my Storm Vermin in place and bringing in the Penumbran Pendulum, doing a lot of damage, absolutely devastating that unit, getting them to rout more or less instantaneously, and Orion once more reigns the field in this area. Meanwhile, off in the distance over here, you can see the Rat Ogres have returned to the field. They have rallied, but I did not pay enough attention, unfortunately. A little bit of miss micro there, and you can see the Deepwood Scouts continue to fire away, hoping to get rid of those guys, as now the gaps are closing towards my Plague Claw Catapult that has got 72 kills, so it's done a fair bit of work, but the Storm Vermin with Halberd there as well, hoping to hold the line and keep these guys alive. Orion continues to be a threat as he chases in some of my Clan Rats with shields. I'm now using my Plague Claw Catapult, trying to cause some damage to Orion. Unfortunately, they are not very accurate, of course, so they are flubbing a lot of their shots, and in comes some support as well from Orion's bombardment capability, and I try to dodge the bombardment there, but unfortunately just not quick enough. I take a touch of damage, lose about maybe a fifth of my health there, and you can see all of these Deepwood Scouts are still very much at either full health or 50% health, not damaged nearly enough. These Dryads as well now closing the gaps over here. The Plague Claw Catapult is in a very precarious situation as Orion comes in and again just wants to say hello over here, pokes and prods a little bit. The Storm Vermin with Halberd diving in, hoping to get some work done. Orion uses Foe Seeker again, I think just to keep Vigor up over here. Pumps his speed as well, but I think that's mainly for Vigor as the Plague Claw Catapult gets a couple more shots in to some of these Deepwood Scouts, but again, unfortunately, very inaccurate, the Plague Claw Catapult, so not doing nearly enough work, not as much as I needed, despite those 82 kills it now has. And meanwhile, over here, you can see the Hounds come in as well, just doing a significant amount of damage, not just to health, but more so to morale of these Storm Vermin with Halberds. They get terrified as well because Orion is nearby. They decide to turn, tail, and run, more or less literally, while back here, these Rat Ogres go in for one last hurrah, trying to close the gap on some of these Deepwood Scouts, but they get so much fire shot upon them that they decide to turn around and rout. Same thing goes over here. These Rat Ogres manage to close the gap to these Dryads, and as I try to order them into these Deepwood Scouts, they just eat too much range fire. They give up on the fight more or less right away. As all of these units, though, rally, I try to pile in and try to take care of Orion, hoping to cause some morale damage among the Wood Elves here. You can see the Storm Vermin with Halberd trying to get some work in. We've got all those Night Runners as well firing away, but they are not really able to get clean shots, unfortunately, despite Orion's size. Some of these units now, these Dryads, are giving up on the fight. Some of these Dryads as well, very low on health as well, so this might have worked out for me, but unfortunately, the range capabilities are just far too strong, and my Skaven are overrun. Now, compositionally, I was trying something a little different, and it simply did not work out. My opponent had the right tools for the job, and though I anticipated his flanking attempts through the woods, I was under-equipped to deal with his dryads and the sheer force of Orion. As always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Total War content. Online battles and Total Breakdown will bring you a constant flow of tactical analysis. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to meeting you on the battlefield.